Greetings, gardeners. Popcorn season's over. I'm finished. I have harvested. Take a look at what's on the table. The popcorn harvest is in. I am running out of room down here on the drying tables, and so I've had to start hanging the stuff up on a clothesline. This here Glass Gems has got to be some of the most beautiful corn. Look at this stuff. It's just gorgeous. But now that the popcorn thing's over, I got to figure out what am I going to do next. I'm going to plant jicama. Now out here behind me is the patch where I once grew the popcorn. That was a pretty clean crop. I managed to keep most of the weeds from coming up in between the rows. Once I harvested off the corn, then I went ahead and I cut the stalks and I dropped them down in the walk rows for mulch. Now that's already on top of the mulch that was from killing the sod. So we have sod grass mulch. Then I put down compost mulch for the corn, and now I've added corn stalk mulch over the top of it. Down here between the rows, I'm planting jicama. Right here I've got a 6-pack full of baby jicama plants. I don't have to start this plant in Hawaii. Growing season's long enough, seed will come up right in the ground. The main reason that I bother with starting these in 6-packs is because it just makes logistics easier for me. That way I can wait until the corn's finished, harvest it off, get rid of the weeds. In the meantime, the jicama is growing in the nursery, and then I can just go through and just set the stuff in between the corn stalks. It's a little easier than trying to sow the seed out there, so that's the reason I do it that way. It's not too hard to put them in. So let's plant a couple and I'll show you how it's done. Here I have a Ken hoe. This is a Japanese tool. It doesn't translate very well. Ken was Barbie's bow, and we all know what a hoe is, so kind of strange thing in English, but nevertheless, it's a nice tool for this. See, there's a corn stalk right here, jicama plant, corn stalk, jicama plant, corn stalk. So what I'm doing is just placing these directly between the stalks in the row. So we're using the same spacing as the corn, 12 inches apart. There we go. There's a little worm. Poor little guy. Okay, so this Ken hoe works real nice for this. Chop a little hole down there in the dirt. Pop a jicama plant out of the container. Soil around it, press it down good. Then we'll just go ahead and put a little bit of organic fertilizer on the rows when we're done. We use pelletized chicken manure for that. So, and to get a better look at it here, you can see at the very far end of the row there, I've got Japanese green onions, kobo. They're going to seed for me. And then the corn rows came out ahead of that. And you can see here where the jicama was stuck in between every corn stalk, and then I'm using the corn stalks as mulch. Over here on the outside edge I'm growing pigeon peas, and I'm also growing yard long beans and some regular string bean down there. They're kind of beat up. That's an old crop. These are all legumes. They'll all fix nitrogen. They'll all enrich the soil. Nice little green rows. But a little bit about jicama, because I myself have found jicama a confusing crop. I have tried to grow jicama for many years in different locations, from the American Midwest to the Southwest to the West Coast, and finally out here in Hawaii. It really wasn't until I got here to Hawaii that I really figured it all out. What would happen to me is that in temperate climates where the winter is cold, I would often have to plant the jicama in the spring. Couldn't plant it in fall because it'd die over the winter. And so I wasn't getting anywhere. I'd plant jicama seeds in spring. They may have started them in my greenhouse months ahead like pepper plants, and then move them out to the field. But all that would happen to me is I'd get gigantic vines, big, huge legume vines with lavender flowers on them that would then make bean pods with seeds in them, but I wouldn't get any roots. I wouldn't get the jicama. So
University of Hawaii is where I bought my jicama seed this last year, and on there was stapled a little tag that said plant in August and September for proper timing. Well, when I did that, what happened is I found out on the shortest days of the year, jicama makes the tuber. Then it dies back. Then when spring comes and the days get longer, then jicama makes a vine, flowers, and makes seeds. So if you're planting jicama during long days, all you're going to get is vines, seeds, and flowers. If you plant jicama during short days, then you will actually see the jicama form the tuber before it goes dormant in late winter. It actually can be grown either in the soil, or I have even used 1-gallon nursery pots to raise beautiful jicama plants. So if you're in a climate where the weather isn't frost-free in the wintertime, you can still raise this if you have a greenhouse. It doesn't really have to even be heated if you live, say, in California or Arizona or someplace like that. An unheated greenhouse will probably work to raise jicama in containers. And 1-gallon pots are actually suitable for the purpose. As I had mentioned, jicama will also grow in pots like 1-gallon containers. So I got 5 plants left here in this 6-pack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant up 5 1-gallon pots full of jicama. So we need containers. I need a quality potting soil. Okay, and then we need to dibble a hole in each one of the pots. Add a little bit of fertilizer, about a teaspoon or so below each one of these guys here. I'm using Nutricoat 180. It's a time-release fertilizer, common here on the island with commercial growers. It's not an organic. It works really good in containers, though. So now I just pop these little guys out of their 6-packs here, put them inside. Just close in the soil around the plugs and straighten these guys up real nice. There we go. Now just go find a place for them in the nursery out here, and later on I'll show you the product. But if you want to flash back to last year, you'll find that late winter I had a video showing the jicama being grown in these containers. So there's the trick. Get it planted in August and September. You have all the jicama you can eat. So thanks for watching. Happy gardening. Aloha, and hey, hang loose.